virus cannot mutate.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Joe Exotic.
Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not a bonk machine, it's a fence.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat from outside this world.
Broken News.
Hello, welcome to episode 16 of Broken News, your weekly world news update with a twist, and we'll start this show off with an apology. We would like to apologise to our legions of fans who woke up this morning disappointed that there was no new episode of Broken News, but we're here now. We decided to try one in the morning to see if we are funny in the morning. So what do you think? Do you think we're going to be any funnier today?
Didn't I tell him it's a fucking morning? Drinking a can of beer.
So he is.
A cup of tea. A cup of tea. Sorry. What shite are you drinking today?
Today I've got, please don't refer to our upcoming sponsor as shite. I've got a pink, what is it? Ultra Rosa Monster Energy. Delicious and nutritious.
I like the can. The can's stunning. But let me tell you a wee story I heard yesterday. There was a man that drinks 3 full-size cans of Monster every day, as opposed to the half-size cans. What a fucking nonsense.
Okay.
I know. So he drinks 3 cans of Monster a day, and he ended up with severe kidney stones. So you can look forward to that. I'll only have an alcohol problem, and that's fine.
Okay. I know, you enjoy your multiple stints in rehab, and I'll enjoy my kidney stones. I saw something on TikTok about Monster as well. It's just not, I mean, you could say anything about anything, do you know what I mean? Everything's bad for you these days, do you not think? But it was some post from apparently some sort of doctor saying that if you drink 1 Monster a day, or any sugary energy drink, you're like 99% more likely to develop dementia and brain injuries and stuff. And I'm like, well,
say about anything.
How do you isolate the Monster drink as the cause of that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd have to analyse everything that they did for their whole life to figure that out.
Yep.
And I didn't even think, like, energy drinks have not been around that long. Like, how, not, I mean, most people that get dementia are obviously, like, quite old. How do they...
It'll be one chemical. It'll be one chemical that's in it that's related to fucking Alzheimer's or something. Who knows?
Well, I love a good chemical.
Me too.
Yeah, chemicals are great. Speaking of chemicals, acid attacker.
Ooh, update.
Been caught, hasn't he?
Well, he's not been caught. He's been dragged out of fucking river dead. Well, that's so police have says anyway. So London police said on Tuesday that they strongly believe that the body they pulled from the River Thames is that of a man wanted over a chemical attack. So we'll see if it is him. I can't imagine he's decomposed that much for them. Well, maybe he decomposed quicker underwater. Who fucking knows? But
I'm not sure.
The Titanic did not, because it's still there.
Aye, well, Titanic's not a person, is it?
I don't know.
But, do you know what? It kind of annoys me with the police. I wish they'd just be honest. Like, it is him, innit? We all know it is. It's like when they say, oh, at this stage our inquiries are ongoing or whatever, like, we've found a body, and they look identical to the person we're looking for, but it might not be them. Do you know what I mean?
Just say it. Just tell us the fucking truth.
Tiresome. They're just
formalities.
Padding it out, aren't they?
Aye.
Idiots.
They all think they're in Lethal Weapon, all these fucking coppers, eh? They think they're Riggs and Murtaugh. Silly bastards.
Ken, fucking line of duty arseholes. And speaking of updates, we've got another update. So there's also an update on the XL bully ban. It's in force now, isn't it? Or something you were telling me.
It is. It's actually quite a fucking shame. So they were supposed to be rehomed by the 23rd of February, and if they couldn't find homes for them all, the ones that were remaining were just to get put down. Fucking shame, because of their fucking daft owners that have had them in the last 40, 50 years are installing this craziness into them. Maybe the breed should just be eradicated. It's a fucking shame to say that, but
your cat should be eradicated.
Oh,
tell us the story of what happened before when we were setting up.
Right. So I've no long woken up, right? Right, let's forget about the kind of tenants. But I've no long woken up, right? And then I needed that to wake me up a bit, all right? I've got a problem, it's fine. So I come in, I set up all the podcast stuff, and I've got my can of tenants there. My cat comes in, he's running about riot, and I fucking spilt the can everywhere. So there was another disaster. Had to clean all that up, and then my cat just started bouncing about and ruining all my equipment. Oh, fuckface. Anyway, I've not had a great morning. It's not been a good start. Not to worry, I won't poison him. Talking about poisoning animals, Remember a few episodes back, we were talking about how you do not see white dog shit anymore. I think the last time we seen it was in the 90s.
Yep, it definitely was. 1997. My last
White dog shit known to man.
Sadly.
The reason we don't see it anymore is nowadays they've stopped putting bones in with the processed food that they put in, like dog food and stuff like that. Before they used to just put everything in with the scraps that they'd make into this fucking butcher's.
I'm glad they've stopped putting
dog
bones
food
in their food. Doesn't
but
sound
apparently
overly.
it's so strange. It's a lot to do with the weather as well. So that obviously it's very hard to digest the bone fragments. So the meat obviously digests, and then what comes out the other end is basically just loads of bits of bones. And then apparently it doesn't come out white. As soon as the sun hits it or any sort of weather, any terrain, anything, it sort of slowly just goes powdery. And that's where the white comes to.
That's interesting, because when I think about white dog shit, it's always a sunny day. When I think about it in my head, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever did, and I've never once seen it in the rain. Most of the porn that I found in bushes, it was raining, but the white dog shits, it was always sunny.
Also, I mean, I'm no one for going up and smelling dog shit, but I'm certain white dog shit was scentless. Did not have a whiff.
Thanks for. I don't think anybody would have thought you were a person to go and sniff dog shit, but I'm a wee bit I'm surprised you felt the need to clarify that. Now I'm
Drinking
starting
at
to wonder.
9:30 in the morning. Stranger things have happened.
There's troubles. There's troubles here. Well, I've got an update as well on something we talked about. I think it was last week we were talking about Tinder. So for the first time, the podcast's been used against me. So I was talking to a lady on Tinder. I'm back. I'm back on. I said I was off last week. I'm back on. It's just too entertaining. So anyway, I was speaking to a girl in there the other day, and it was actually the day after we did our last podcast, and she was asking me what I was up to and stuff, and I said, well, I'm a bit tired today because I was up quite late last night editing a podcast that I do with my friend. And she's like, oh, aye. And she was trying to get the name of it out of me and stuff, and I really, really didn't want to share it because I don't think this podcast is something that would appeal to anyone, certainly not a woman that might be interested in the likes of me. But eventually I gave her the name and she went and had a wee listen to a bit of it, and obviously the bit she picked was the bit where I'm roaring about all the girls on Tinder and the reason that they're single is their personalities. She just called me right out on it. She just messaged me and was like, oh, so the reason I'm single is because of my personality. I just had to eat some humble pie, so I've probably talked myself out of a date there, but never mind. And
Fuck's sake.
yeah.
Do not tell any potential wife material that you even do a podcast. It's just you're opening yourself up for fucking disaster.
No, I mean I'm not
especially
looking for
this
a wife.
podcast. The fucking shite that comes out her mouth. See if I wasn't already snapped up and somebody watched this, me drinking at 9:30 in the morning, like shouting at a fucking cat. You didn't see that, but thank fuck. I'd have zero buddy. Zero buddy.
Zero buddy.
I'm coining that.
Aye.
I'm
You're
coining
like
that.
the last. You're with like the last woman on earth that will put up with you. So,
Fucking
just
hell, that's true.
just yeah, never, ever. for
Maybe
any
she
reason.
likes zero buddies.
Maybe. So yeah, and I've got a Tinder bio to read you. I actually just found this one this morning, so I'm glad we didn't record last night, or I wouldn't have had it because I was swiping like fuck last night trying to find a funny one. I couldn't, but I've got one here. So, hoping there's someone different out there. Far too many clowns. At the stage in life where I ain't arsed if you're here to restore my faith in men, it's welcome. No man wants an easy woman. I'll let yous all in on a secret. No woman wants an easy man. Next.
Oh my god! Right, let's just go back a bit. Right, anybody, man or woman, or a fucking dog or annoying cat that uses the word "ain't," go drop dead. Go drop dead.
If you ain't from Texas, you shouldn't be using the word ain't.
If you ain't drinking at 9:30 in the morning, then you ain't worth shit. Right?
I've never fucking lived. Get attendance down you. How does it taste at this time in the morning?
Dangerous.
Yeah. You're looking quite dangerous today.
I feel dangerous.
Speaking of dangerous, Robocop update. How's Robocop doing?
He's all right. I mean, he's had the flu. Big Arnie's looking after him though, and you've got Balboa at the front, sort of just keeping the status quo.
He's keeping the peace. That's good. That's good to hear. Well, one more piece of social media related news. I actually got into a Twitter argument the other day. I haven't even told you about this. I don't
Fuck.
use. Actually, I need to call it X now. I think, don't I? I don't really ever post on Twitter anymore. But the other day, I saw something that made me mad to the point that I had to reply to the person. I'll read you the tweet that was posted. It was just a busybody basically, and it's somebody on a number 11 bus in Edinburgh going to Ocean Terminal, I think. So the tweet is, I'm on a crowded number 11 bus in Edinburgh and elderly passengers are standing whilst there are teenagers not giving up their seats. What is wrong with these people? And just for some reason, it just riled me up, right? Because I'm going to show you a picture, actually, right? Let me show you the picture. So here's the picture here. Right. Now, in the picture, you can quite clearly see that the woman who has posted the tweet, you can see her big fat fucking reflection in the back of the seat. She's sitting down.
See her. Aye.
She's sitting.
Oh,
so she hasn't gave up her seat.
Yep. So she's just like you say, she's a busybody.
Aye.
Right.
It just pissed me off. And see the people standing up. Do they look like they're in any great distress?
Nah, they're not giving one fuck. Not one
No.
fuck. The
Just
only person that's giving a fuck about anything on that bus is her.
Aye. She's making a choice to just be, a busybody. There's probably no better word for it. There was so many, like, this tweet went pretty viral. Like, she was getting absolutely hammered left, right and centre from all sorts of people. But I don't even think kids should have to give up a seat on a bus for an older person.
No, not even in the slightest. No.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, obviously, if there's somebody on the bus that, I don't know, they have a funny turn or they're not feeling well or whatever it might be, right? Aye, offer them a seat. But they've just got on the bus. Like,
Yep.
it's the middle of the day. It's busy.
Yep. I agree with what you're saying there, right? But here's another one just to defend what you're saying. So these kids, right? I'm guessing this is early in the morning, and what's her face? Titanic has gone to work, and so these two kids that are sitting in the front there are probably going to school, right? That old woman that's standing there has got all fucking day doing nothing. Just go a couple of hours later or an hour later and avoid the kids on the fucking bus, and you'll get your arse on a seat, right? Also, on a side note, did we catch that woman's name, the busybody? Because chances are she doesn't say that far from me, and I will go and roundhouse her in the tits.
Well, her Twitter name was Bridget Jones, but I suspect that's not her real name, if I'm honest.
No.
But yeah, so I took her to task because I just don't like that attitude, man. I mean,
Nah, that's right.
who's to say these girls don't have some sort of disability that means that they find it difficult to stand up? There's all sorts of things that you can't just assume.
But why did that woman no stand up? Why did she not get up and give the woman the seat?
Loads of people asked her that in the replies, and she said that she did stand up after she took the photo. And I'm like, okay, so your priority number one was, let's get a picture of this. Let's bang out a tweet with my fat fucking fingers and be an arsehole. And if it was that urgent, get out your fucking seat.
Yep.
Why? Who even has the thought to take that picture and tweet about it?
But I couldn't stand up. I've got muscular problems. You've no, just put down the fork.
Yeah, you've got McDonald's problems.
We are awful. We are fucking
Sorry.
awful. We are awful. We want to put it out there to the cuddly community that, we have got nothing against a belly. I mean, I'm packing a few fucking pounds here. Also, the steroids I've been on have puffed out my face quite a bit. So I'm in the club.
Bubbly queens, we love you all just the same. Unless you're taking ridiculous pictures on buses and tweeting about it. Service
Cutting
number
all that,
11. No, I'm leaving the whole fucking lot in. I'm furious. See, because it's morning, I feel safer. Don't know what it is. Definitely not. But yeah, that number 11 bus runs every 15 minutes. So if there's anybody on the bus that can't stand, and you know what Edinburgh buses are like, man. People just dot on and off. A seat's going to become available quite quickly, and if it doesn't, you're probably not going that far. There's nobody on that bus that's travelling 40 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Probably.
No. Number 11, is that a single decker, double decker?
It looks like, in fact, it was a double decker because some people were asking this woman why, like, was there seats upstairs and stuff, and she was like, I don't know, because my fat arse can't get up the stairs. She didn't say that. Anyway, let's move on. But yeah, it runs every 15 minutes. So if there's anyone on the bus that isn't capable of standing, and you can see there's loads of windows on a bus. If it looks really busy, just wait 15 minutes, wait for the next one. It may not be as busy.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's what's annoyed me this week. I have written down here, and I'm intrigued to see what this is. I've just got the word moist from you.
Oh my god!
So
Right, I see
what have you got for us?
It's not much a story, but this month has been the moistest February in 258 years. Have you got a picture of the map? There's a look at that, a perfect phallus. Right, I'd love to meet who put that together and shake their hand. Their hand, I say. Fucking hell. The moistest February in 258 years.
I know, when people say climate change isn't real.
I know.
Well, I have a few. This
Climate
inspired
change?
me.
Or climax change.
Climax change.
Oh!
There's certainly been no change in my climax because I'm getting fucking no luck on Tinder. So you inspired me when you sent me this, and I thought, do you know what? I bet there's loads of funny pictures out there on the internet of other things that look like dicks. So I've got a few to show you here. Okay, so the first one is this one, which is a piece of...
fuck.
Apparently, that's a piece of fried chicken, but I don't think it is, man.
That's a cock.
That's a fried cock.
That is a
Without-
fucking fry cock. I can
I've
see the
never
Darth
seen it.
Vader helmet on the end.
I
Fucking
know.
hell.
That's a dick.
Yep.
That's just a dick. There's no
I
two
am
ways
your
about
penis.
it. I
Yep.
know. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one I have is... it's not really a dick.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Looks-
I mean,
looks
that's
like a-
been manufactured a bit.
Oh, but I mean, it's so good. It's a wee
It's
guy,
perfect.
obviously just lying back, legs akimbo.
Akimbo?
Yeah,
Mhm.
akimbo.
That's
he's
brilliant. That is good.
In fact, I was going to say his wee well in there. It's actually enormous if that's the
Do you
scale.
know what that reminds me of? You remember a cartoon when we were younger? It was like made of Play-Doh. Morph.
Morph.
That looks like Morph.
Morph stick. I never thought I'd see the day. His
Bloody
career's gone
hell.
down the pan. He'll be in Celebrity Big Brother next week, Morph. Eh?
I know. Also, he's got jaundice. Fucking hell, Morph took a turn for the
I
worse.
know. Maybe he's got the
Fucking
same
hell.
thing Michael Jackson had, but he's gone yellow instead of white.
What was that called that he had? Like an Igor son? Oh, fuck, I don't know. He's
Yeah,
got
I
something.
don't-
He had something.
Right, next one I've got is...
Is that a kid's climbing frame?
Yeah, this is a rock climbing thing. So I don't know why it's that shape and that
Looks like
colour.
a Chinese man's dick.
I mean, he should see a doctor because there's fucking
Definitely.
warts all over it. But yeah,
Oh,
really,
aye.
really problematic. We've got one more. This isn't really a thing that looks like a dick. Well, it is, but it also just made me laugh. This is
Oh, God.
a water fountain.
Fucking hell.
Somewhere in France, I think it was. She's
Yeah.
done that before, hasn't she?
The designer obviously knew what they were doing. Nothing's
They
by
did.
mistake.
No, you
Love
couldn't draw that out and be like, that doesn't look anything like a dick. Because it does.
Aye. I know.
And then one bonus one, two things that look like a dick.
Okay, okay, right. I would refer to whoever that is in the background with the tongue out. What a dick she
I don't know
is.
who that is. Look at those two dicks.
Oh my God, look at that fucking scare cut. On both of us, actually.
My hair is
Actually-
so tall.
Your head looks like a penis there with that fucking haircut.
It does. I know.
Actually,
Jesus.
my head looks like a penis. That looks exactly like Darth Vader's fucking helmet.
That's what I was saying to you. Two dicks.
No wonder
Right,
she's
let's-
making a face at us. Anyway,
I know.
move on.
Let's get that off the fucking screen immediately. That's dreadful. Just continuing on with the climate change theme, I've got a wee TikTok of the week to show you. This is fucking hilarious. I was pissing myself at this one. So, a Norwegian weatherman was delivering a live broadcast from a beach during a storm. And when I say global warming hit him right in the mouth, I'm not lying. So wait till you see this. This is absolutely great.
Was that a cod?
That's a fish.
Fucking hell.
Let's just quickly see that again.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Can you remember the one where there's a woman and she's sort of detailing a storm that's happening for the news and she gets fucking whacked by a stop sign?
I don't
it's
think I've actually
fantastic.
seen that.
Really?
Oh, we need to get
Right.
that. We can play that
We're
next
going
week.
to put that in now.
Don't make unnecessary journeys. Don't take risks on treacherous roads. And don't swim in the sea. Incredibly, people have been spotted in the water here in Blackrock and Salthill both today and yesterday.
No, I've not seen it, but I'll find it now and we'll play it.
No, that's what I mean. Just put it in
No,
an
I
edit.
know I'm doing a thing.
Oh, shut up! Fuck's sake!
Doing a
Leo!
That's his fucking fault.
It's funny these things that happen on fucking live TV like that, like the woman with a stop sign. I don't know if you've ever been watching Countdown and some of the words that just naturally come out when they're picking the consonants and the vowels. The most fucking hideous word comes out.
I've seen a few pictures of them online. Have you got any? Have you
I've
seen
not
one?
got any. There's tons, but let's put a couple in here.
Thanks, giving me fucking more work to do. That's what I was hoping for. Eventually, this podcast will just be you sitting there
Right.
going,
Do
Dan,
that.
put something in here. Put something in here.
Fix it while I drink this.
I think this podcast is going to go downhill quite quickly the more beer you have.
Yep.
So I want to ask you if anything strange has ever hit you in the face at work. Or just general anything weird that's ever happened to you at work.
There's a lot, man. There's fucking junkies and everything coming to my work. But let's not talk about me, because I know one of my friends, he used to work in a pawn shop as well. For everybody that doesn't know, I work in pawn. Pawn, not porn. Get your head out the gutter, you dirty bastards. So my friend, who's now a policeman, he used to work in a pawn shop in Edinburgh's old town, where like all the haunted tours, if you come to Edinburgh, there's a lot of tours about ghosts and stuff like that. His shop was right in the middle of it. And he was having his lunch one day in the basement of the shop is where like all the staff had their lunch, and a box hit him in the back of the head. So he ran upstairs and he went, right, what fucking one of you has done that? That was fucking so. And they're like, what? We've never done anything. He's gone, stop taking the piss. I fucking know one of yous threw that box at the back of my head. And he went, oh, and by the way, something's burning down there. I can smell candles. And the owner went, oh my fucking God. He went, that's it. The poltergeist activity started again. So it's something
Fuck's
that's
sake.
happened previously. As soon as they smell this, the candles, apparently it was kids, like orphans and stuff back in the day when they never had any lights, they'd have candles just to guide them around in the dark. When they smelt that, they knew there was going to be poltergeist activity. So he can officially say a ghost threw a box at his fucking head.
That's really creepy. I was sitting there feeling quite scared when you were telling it. I used to work in a shop in Edinburgh as well, and there was a basement, and I used to hate going down there. We used to keep all our old like paperwork and stuff down in it. I used to always fucking make some student go down and take it, because it's just, I like it. It's just a creepy vibe. There was always like pigeons kicking about, and I don't like things like that. I'm a bit of a puss. Hey, I get scared. I get scared.
Well, Edinburgh's such a fucking old place. It is quite ominous. But
Ghost centrally.
In my old shop, well, same company, we were our basement was an old World War II bunker, and it's still got the old war, the bunker door with a big turn handle and stuff, and you can feel that there's been some fucking terror down there.
Yeah. What was it? What, you found something in your new work quite recently? Obviously, we wouldn't say where this is, but what was it you found recently that was unbelievable?
Oh, fucking hell. Whoever was in the unit that we were in previously had a fucking drug farm. We found a secret door because we put on a switch. I'm like, what's this switch for? So we pressed it and we seen this wee light come on. We're like, what the fuck's that? And we took a big panel off the wall and it just revealed this secret like low room with all these light-ins and mirrors and fucking in a drug farm. I've got a couple of pictures, actually. If we've got time, we'll throw them in.
No, Daniel, no!
Aye, I'll put them in. Why not? Aye, why not? Do you want me? Actually, I could maybe just make I could make an animation of it for you. Save you even having to send me the pictures.
If you could. But
Yeah,
can I
I'll do
watch you
that.
while I'm drinking this?
Well, I've got one sticking with the property theme. A loose link. $16 million California mansion on the verge of falling into the ocean.
Fuck.
I've got a picture of it here. So this is the house.
Oh, you
have to be
fucker.
fair, innit? So there's been
So
recent mudslides and stuff. So it didn't used to be that.
God.
It didn't used to be that close. You can see the other houses. Obviously, there's cliffs, but they're safe. But then the one on the left of the picture there,
Oh my
you can
God.
see where all the cliff face is like falling away.
So see that wee one at the side? That's basically it's off the cliff.
Yeah.
Like is that slowly just getting further and further?
The one on the left there is the one that's in danger, or apparently in danger. The other ones are all right because the way they're built, they're pinned. Do you know what I mean? They're pinned to the ground.
They were built into the cliff. They were supposed to look like that, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's
They're
fucking
meant to
terrifying.
look like that. Yeah. But
So they
what's
have their
happened
breakfast on that fucking balcony.
Well, that's why it's
That's
$16 million ago. Like that's That's a nice gaff, that, isn't it? But anyway,
Fucking hell.
it's the guy that lives in it. He's 82, and he's not for moving. He's like, there's fucking nothing. That's a direct quote, by the way. He's like, there's fucking nothing wrong with it. No, the real quote is that he says that the house is structurally in good shape and not under any immediate threat of collapse. I mean, if he's 82, he might not have long left, and he's probably right, but fucking hell, that house is gone in a few years, isn't it?
Majorly. My eyeballs say different than him.
Yeah.
Just by looking at that, man, I reckon that's got 4 years and it's off. But I mean, if he's on his way out, he might as well go down swinging.
I know.
Good on
What a
him.
way to go, the way. How did you die? Well,
Fucking hell.
my house fell into the sea.
Talking about things sinking, I've got one for you. So there's I've got a wee story. It's I'll give you the tagline. So, girl dead and brother hospitalised after being buried in sandhole on South Florida beach. So this is a nightmare of mine. You know, you get those nightmares. See when you're falling and you instantly wake up, right?
Yeah.
This is just a side note. But I've heard if you actually hit the ground in those dreams, you're in an instant coma.
You die.
I don't know
I've
how
heard
true
that
that
too.
is.
I don't know, man.
I don't know how true that
Is it not that apparently you'll have a heart attack because
Heart attack, coma, something.
your brain tries to shut you down because it knows you're going to die when you hit the something like that, isn't it?
It's something like that. Aye. Fucking hell.
I'm going to
but,
say it. Do you think that? I think that's true. I'm going to say that's true. I think I can understand the logic.
Well, your body's going to go into some sort of shock. I would have thought the heart attack's probably more likely than a coma, because your body would go into absolute shock. So your brain and
It's
heart
like the
would
people
start
that
going
said
mental.
the Twin Towers thing was all happening. It was all kicking off in September 11th. They said all the people that were jumping, they were like, oh, they would all have died before they hit the ground because they would have had heart attacks. And how scared would you have to be to jump out?
I
It's
know,
terrifying to think
maybe
about.
but everybody that jumps out of a plane for sport, they didn't have a heart attack before they hit the ground.
It's a bit different, though, isn't it?
I don't know. What's 9/11? Rejog my memory.
I don't think many people jump out planes without a parachute. Do you know what I mean?
know, that's true, that's
and
true.
on purpose. So anyway, so a wee girl and a wee boy died on the beach. That's fucking sad, isn't it?
Siblings, Sloan Mattingly, 7, and brother Maddox, 9, were digging while in the sand in Lauderdale by sea when they became trapped in a collapsed sandhole while playing on the beach. It's not known how long they were buried, so I'm guessing obviously their mum and dad was probably just lying there sunbathing, and they were like, "Oh, where's the kids? Fuck knows." Seen some sort of maybe deformation in the sand, and they just started digging. They got the boy out. He's obviously still alive, but he's in hospital. I think he's still at this point non-verbal. But she died. Fucking shame, man. That is terrifying.
What a nightmare.
Just want to go to the beach and build a fucking sandcastle. I'm terrified.
I know.
I will not build another sandcastle.
In fear of sinking
in case
into
you
the
get
fucking
buried.
ground. Aye. Fuck that.
Maybe the parents were. Maybe they'd been on the tenants at 9:15 in the morning as well. Could
Yep.
be.
Maybe. Talking about being buried alive, right? If none of you have seen this, you've seen it. You've seen it. You could only watch it once. I mean, you could watch it twice, but there's no point.
Yeah.
Watch Buried with Ryan Reynolds. What a fucking film.
I love that film. I actually I'd been bigging it up to someone for ages to watch it, and then I watched it with them, and then at the end they were like, "It's all right."
Hate
And
them.
it really-
Did you disown them?
Never seen them again.
Cunts. Assholes.
So it kind of it is a great film. I thought it was a great film, and great twist at the end as well. I did not see it coming.
There's 2 or 3 twists in it, and then there's a big one at the end. But go watch that. We're going to say no more. Do not read up on it or even watch a trailer. Just go watch Buried with Ryan Reynolds, who is, by the way, going to be he's already one of the biggest stars in the world. But when Deadpool 3 comes out, Andy's new film, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, it's called If. He is going to be the
one about
biggest star.
Dreams, isn't it?
No,
It's about, like, is it not about imaginary friends and stuff? Yeah,
Aye,
they come real. I thought you were going to say there. I thought you were about to give away something we can't reveal yet. I thought you were going to say Ryan Reynolds is going to be a guest on an upcoming episode.
Oh no, he's coming on.
He's already said that when he's doing his press junkets for Deadpool, is it Deadpool versus Wolverine? It's called the new one, something like that.
No,
isn't it?
I think it's just Deadpool 3. I don't think there's that was maybe a working title.
You can send me away to get the right title and put the trailer in and XYZ. But yeah, we'll get him on.
Like
He's ready. He's keen. He's keen to do it. He said. He says he'd love to if he's got time. So I'm sure he'll be on.
I said, can you bring some aviation gin because I like a tipple in the morning? And he says, I've got nothing to do with that anymore. And I says, fuck off,
He
Ryan.
sold it, didn't it? He made a lot of money selling it as well.
Mega
Good lad.
money. Yep.
He's come some career he's had since he was in like Van Wilder and stuff when he was just still basically a kid. I loved Van Wilder. It's a cracking film.
Oh, it's great. Even the second one was good. The first thing I ever seen him in was Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place. It was phenomenal back in the day. If none of you have seen that, go back and watch him at his roots. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. There's a film that he's in. It's probably not one of his more well-known ones. I'm sure you'll have seen it though. It's called Waiting, where he works in a restaurant.
Fucking love it.
Great film.
Who's in that? Who else is in that?
Anna Faris.
What a
Josh. What's the guy called? The guy from Jeepers Creepers. What's he called again? Is it Josh? Josh something?
No.
You know the guy with the curtains?
Yeah. His name is...
Jacob. It's a J. I feel like it's a J.
Cutting all this out,
Yes. Anyway, he's in it. But yeah, there's quite a good cast in it, and it all centres around a game that they play in the restaurant where they have to try and unknowingly make one of the other members of staff look at their dicks.
Oh, it's
and
brilliant.
they've got all the different positions. Like they've got like made up like moves for it. Like they've got one called the bat wing where they stretch their ball sack out so it looks like a bat. I'm sure I had it on a DVD when I was 19, 20 or something like that. Well, that's from one tragedy to another. Do you just come on here to talk about people that die?
Yes, I've got another one
Good.
about somebody dying. If you want to buckle yourself in, so
Man!
a 59-year-old man dies next to wife on plane. Latam to Punta. Right, I've got no idea where either of those places are, but that's not the plot anyway. The postmortem takes place next week, but there is no suspicious circumstances. And while his wife was interviewed, she spoke of several underlying health issues that he had. So, if they knew about that, why did they not take precautions? And did he take his tablets? Fuck knows. Right.
Do you think she seems a bit keen to mention all the natural health problems? And I think there are. I think there could be suspicious circumstances.
Maybe she took him on a flight high altitude on
Potentially.
purpose.
Do you think she's been speaking to that husband of the Indian woman?
Yes. Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch last week's episode where we speak about a man who basically had his wife pronounced dead. She wasn't actually dead. We think he just wanted fucking shot at her.
He was sick of her.
Actually, I bet you anything it's that woman on the fucking number 11. So that's another fear of mine. Like just spontaneous instant death. And you hear more stories now. I don't know if it's because there's the internet now and obviously you hear stuff, whereas before you just hear stuff by chance on the radio or the TV. How fucking old are we? The radio or the TV?
Radio. I used to
telegram.
get the news by telegram. It is a shite thought though, isn't it? Just any moment you could just fucking die. I think it's the COVID vaccine. I'll say it.
Well, that's definitely got something to do. We've spoken about that in the past, and I think it's definitely affected me. And there is 1,000 other people that I've spoke about it as well. And there's a lot of people personally I know that have been absolutely fine up until the COVID jabs, and now their life is just on a fucking downward spiral. To be quite honest with you, I'm one of them. I am. I'm.
You used to wait till 10 o'clock before you had your tenants. Now it's fucking 9.
I know. Fucking hell, man. Honestly, I'm falling apart here. I'm falling apart. But
Fucking Pfizer. They've got a lot to answer for.
You hear a lot of stories now about young guys that are getting pneumonia. Young, fit, healthy guys, like football players and stuff, just getting pneumonia. They go into hospital, and then while they're in hospital, they catch something else and they fucking die. So pneumonia is a big killer now for young guys, which was never a problem before. You never heard of this in like the 80s, the 90s, or even the early 2000s. You heard nothing. It just seems to be something that's came along all of a sudden. And it's weird that nobody questions this.
No, pneumonia used to be something that was like a joke. You know, like your mum or dad would be like, make sure you put your gloves on, you'll get pneumonia.
Aye.
Like it's like it wasn't actually, they were being like obviously over the top to get you to wear your clothes in the winter and stuff, but not that I didn't wear clothes in the winter, but my winter clothes. But it just used to be something that was, you never heard of it, did you? Like,
no. Do you remember the other one they used to say to you? They'd say, remember, zip up your jacket because you'll catch a death. You'll catch a death? A death? What one? How many deaths are there?
Surely you only get one.
I know. Fucking hell.
Yeah. That is weird. You'll catch a death of cold. I think that's a full thing, isn't it? But again, like, catch a death of cold, it's just fucking doesn't make sense, does it?
It's just old. I think it's old language, old speak. But talking about old speak, when we met 15 years ago, we were still speaking to each other on a tin can and a wire, weren't we? What was your first ever phone? Your first ever mobile phone?
My first one was a Siemens, I think it was. I'm sure it was a Siemens.
The big one.
So I wouldn't say I was late to the mobile phone game, but I remember wanting one for about nearly a year before I got one, because my mum and dad weren't sure. It sounds mad now, but like, obviously it was a big change back then, wasn't it, for like kids to have phones?
Major jump, major.
So I think I was about 14. Was it 14? Nah, before that. 13, I think I was when I got one first. And it was like a little Siemens thing where like it had an aerial on it, but it was like a little stumpy one. It looked like a finger almost, like a wee stumpy aerial. It couldn't extend it or that.
I think my first ever mobile phone, it was called a BT Cellnet, and it had like a wee flippy bit at the bottom for no reason. That done nothing. They've ripped it off. It was just for show. Great phone. And then I went to a Motorola, right? And this thing was the size of my skull. It was fucking huge. And me and my mate had the exact same phone, and I used to go stay over at his. And I don't know how he found this out, because like there wasn't the internet. I mean, there was internet, but it wasn't like widely available for fucking 13-year-old kids to go research. I think Google had just fucking came into the scene actually, but nobody was using it. So he found out that if you type up a text, right, zero money in your phone, by the way, not a penny in it. If you type up a text, pick the number you want to send it to, press send, and while it's sending, just before it says, oh, we can't send it because you've got insufficient funds, turn the phone off, right? Yeah. And then when you turn it back on, the text had sent with no money in the phone.
Wow. Fucking hell.
Crazy.
I wish I'd known that.
Madness.
It was so exciting getting credit on your phone. Do you remember how exciting it was? Because you would buy the voucher, the BT Cellnet voucher, and you would have to scratch off the foil and everything.
I know.
To get the number, and then like bang it in. It was fucking great. And then obviously they came out with top-up cards after that, but they were just weren't as fun. I liked the manual method.
Oh, aye. Or remember, you'd go into the paper and you'd have to buy a code to type into your phone to get a ringtone.
Aye.
Crazy Frog.
What was that? DJ Quicksilver. Those were the times, man. I'm just feeling happy just thinking about the 90s.
I know.
The world's fucked now, isn't it?
That was some tangent. Have you got any news for me?
You said something to me last week that I loved. We were doing our usual, basically doing what we're doing right now, but over message. And I had found an old video of Blink-182 playing on Long Beach. I think it's the year 2000 that they're playing. And I was just commenting on the fact that, one, I would pay any money to go back in time and go to a gig like that where they're still small. Do you know what I mean? But what I noticed watching it was there was like nobody had phones and everything, and they were all just like living in the moment. Like there was mosh pits, and everybody was just like watching the music. Like nobody even watches the band now. They're all watching it through their camera lens. I'm guilty of it. I catch myself sometimes, and I'm like, put your phone down and just fucking savor this moment. But it just reminded me like of simpler times, and you said something to me off the back of it. What you said was chance is non-existent, and we're shouting about the algorithm. So, what is your thoughts on that? Like the everything's about an algorithm these days now, isn't it? Like
everything's money based now. Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Well, beforehand there wasn't any. Like you'd get a record deal through somebody coming to your show and thinking you sound fucking great. You're sort of like an up and coming band or an unknown band, and you've just been doing the circuit for a while, and whoever's there that day say, fucking hell, this band's great. Let's try and sign them. We're going to make some money off the back of them because they're a great band. Nothing to do with fucking numbers. Nothing to do with anything. And now I feel like the first thing a record label looks at before they even listen to the music is how many followers have you got on Facebook. Okay, It's fucking nonsense. So nothing happens by chance lazy,
isn't it, now?
Everyone's numbers. It's fucking hideous. And you know what? There's probably... We all talk about how, he's the best singer in the world. She's the best singer in the world. He's the best performer. How the fuck do we know? That's just what we see. There's a billion people in the bedroom that's a better singer than anybody you've ever heard, and we're never going to see them because chance does not exist.
It's sad, really, isn't it? And you'll know yourself being a singer, but how fucking annoying is it when people say things like they'll hear a song that you've done or they'll hear you sing if you're doing something live or whatever, and they'll say, you're so good. you should go on X Factor. No, that's not the fucking pinnacle. People genuinely think going on X Factor is like the best. Like that's the route to take.
That's
like,
here. That's
Aye.
that's here.
Like
Shit.
it's so like it's maybe that's just the media and what it's made people think that's the route. I don't know. Everybody, and we'll just pull back the curtain here. Every single fucking contestant on all of these shows, they're scouted on YouTube, so they're all already singing.
It's all bullshit. They've all got agents. Every one of them have got agents.
That's what I'm
it's all
talking
bullshit.
about. They're already there. They've already been
garbage.
signed to deals. They've already got management.
Yep.
They've got huge followings on social media. And then they get put on the telly and they get presented as being a nobody.
Yeah,
Like, if you
bullshit.
think back to James Arthur's a great example. He was a nobody. He had about two teeth in his mouth, no money, living in a bed sit. He was just at the lowest of the low. And X Factor changed his life. But see, the people now that go on these types of shows, it doesn't change their life. It's just a vehicle to get them to where they're probably going anyway because they've got money behind them.
Yeah,
it's really sad.
Yeah.
Really sad.
Do you know what? It's the same with exactly what you say is. We can go back as far as I'd probably say series 3 of the UK Big Brother, right? Before then, I think it was just flying the wall. Here's a bunch of nobodies. Let's watch them. They were great. They were the first 3 seasons were fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
And then after that, every person you seen on Big Brother had an agent. You just know it because they'd come off in the tub of everything. And then you go, hold on, I recognise them for something else because they were in something else because they've got fucking agents. They were maybe in an advert. They've done voiceovers. They've done everything. They've got agents. And it's the same with Love Island. None of them are strangers.
I was just going to mention.
They've all got
They're all
fucking
influencers
agents
already. Yeah,
Of course they are.
It's
Of course they are.
pathetic. Get
It's
some
all to do with
fucking
money.
real people back on reality TV because that's the bit that folk have forgot. Reality TV is meant to be the man in the street. Somebody like me or you, just a normal, fucking maybe not us, but like a nice version of me or you, just a normal person.
Yep.
Nowadays, there is no reality TV. It's fucking it's the furthest thing from reality you could possibly get.
But how can anybody have a fucking chance now? How can anybody get a breakthrough? Just your standard fucking person that's sitting in the room that thinks they're the best singer in the world. Like I was just saying, like who's going to hear them? Because a lot of these people like they've got zero following, and you know how hard it is to get a following now because Facebook wants you to pay for this or pay for that. So nothing is by chance. It's fucking hideous.
Yeah.
So ITV, if you're watching, BBC, if you're watching, give some of the wee guys a fucking chance.
Correct.
A fucking chance. So
It's
and it's very
a
hard
shame.
now. Like what we were doing back in the day, we were touring for fucking months on end, slogging it, nearly fucking dying, like doing what we were doing. And I mean, now, if anybody wants to get anywhere or support we supported quite a few decent bands. Like if you want to do it now, you need to pay, and it's not a couple of quid. You need to pay a fucking lot to play with. Let's just say Busted or McFly or somebody like that. You need to pay a fucking lot of money.
Yeah, that was all just kind of starting when we were finishing.
Yep, that was a good put off for me. Majorly, just that sort of solidified that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we were friends with a few bands that bought onto tours and stuff, and they never got fuck all from it.
Zero.
Pay thousands of pounds to go on a few dates with. It's seeing less, like Busted's a good example just because you mentioned them, right? You're going to get nothing from paying. It would probably cost you 30 grand to buy onto a Busted tour, 7 or 8 shows. You're going to get fuck all from that because everybody's there to see Busted.
And the only person that's
And
winning
they can't wait for you
Busted
to get off the fucking stage so that Busted can come on. They're not interested. They'll clap along. They'll clap when you fucking ask them to clap because they're at a fucking gig. They'll take some pictures of you. They'll not even remember your band's name.
Yep.
They'll never
Also,
come and see you.
You think it's going to be the best representation of your band because you're going to have the best PA and you're going to be on the best stage. Wrong. They're going to turn you fucking down, or they're going to mute one of your instruments to make you sound fucking awful next to the main act. And we've seen it happening firsthand.
Yeah, it's just not what it seems with stuff like that. But massive tangent. But I didn't really see it going in that direction. But that's what I fucking love about having these blethers with you. I was going to ask you as well, like, what do you think about, just because we were roaring about the algorithm, what do you think about like the whole Matrix kind of concept that the algorithm, is that the master power, is the AI and everything else, is that eventually going to run the world, and are we just going to be sort of trapped under it, or what? What's your?
I think
have you got any conspiracies to do with that?
I do. So I think unintentionally, because we've no intended for AI to take over. That it's AI's there to assist, But I think it's gonna take over the whole fucking shooting match, and we're gonna regret the day where we fucking came up with the idea, and then when we try and manage it, I think that's when there's going to be major problems. When you try and manage something that's already, I mean, it's never going to be conscious, but it's going to be conscious in the artificial term, and I think that's it's going to be like just a complete other entity. So we're going to have like human consciousness. I think there's going to be artificial consciousness that we aren't going to have any control over. And when we try and suppress it or tell it that we want it to do something this way, that way, I think that's how fucking wars happen. And I'm being serious. I think that's it's going to happen.
When you say it'll never be conscious, maybe it doesn't need to be.
No, human conscious. It's not going to have the same.
Do you think we're conscious?
Soul. Well, we've got a soul. I just think they're going to be soulless conscious.
Yeah.
So
that's what makes it dangerous, right?
Very. Fucking very. Just what was the movie? What's the movie? iRobot. Fuck.
Yep.
iRobot.
Does it not? What is the bit in iRobot where it causes a car accident because the robot drives the car and it makes him crash because it's better for him to die in a car crash because there was going to be 3 other people that might have died if he didn't crash, type thing. It's something along those lines, isn't it?
Aye. Yep.
That's a good movie, that.
Oh,
Before its time, actually, I'd say.
It's actually go back and watch it now. It's scarier now because it's nearly reality.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to watch it back actually because I bet there's loads of things in the film now that seemed outlandish, and now you're like, oh yeah, my phone does that. You know what I mean? I know. It's wild. And just related to that, what do you think? What is your idea? What is the point of us? What's the point of being alive? What's the meaning of life? Big question for a Tuesday morning. If you want a minute to think about
I've always said, well, I've never before, when I've been asked this before, but because times are changing so fucking much, it's warping my brain, and my reality wasn't the reality we had 15 years ago. Majorly. It's completely flipped. But if you were to ask me 15 years ago when we first met, if you were to say, what do you think the meaning of life is? I would have said to learn and take it on with us to the next life.
The next generation.
I think that, because I believe in fucking multiple lives, I think that you've got that knowledge way in your next life. You just need to unlock it. I'll unlock because you know how you get kids that are just smarter than other kids. I think it's because they've retained.
I've got one of them, yeah. It's wild.
I've seen your kids. They're fucking honestly. They're clued up.
They're clued up. Particular. I say I've got one in particular as if I've got 9. I've got 2 kids, but Marley, the younger one, she's been here before. She's 6.5, and like honestly, she sat the other morning and she gave her sister feedback, but she told her she was going to give her feedback on something she'd done. That's the word she used. She was like, "I'm giving you feedback," God. And I'm like, "Are you a CEO, like running a company, or like maybe she's been listening to me working or something? I don't know." But she's like, "Fucking," it was a really funny interchange. But yeah, she's just. I know what you mean. I think she's one of these people that, if you're right about that theory, and I think you could be, I think it's highly possible. She is an older soul. You know, you get people that just seem like ahead of their time or that they've been here before. I definitely believe in that.
Well, I believe that there's, I didn't believe, I've heard that there's, let's just say, I don't know the exact number, but there's like 8 levels of ascension. So it's like you go and you come back 8 times, and then after that you're sort of God tier after that. I don't know what it is after that, but it's like levels in a game. You need to get to the boss.
What tier do you think we are?
Oh, fucking -5.
0.
Oh, we're done.
Do you think that people, that's interesting. So do you reckon that people on the same tier like get along better because they're sort of think that's how that, because you know there's some people they're just no like you. Do you know what I mean? And you just got nothing in common. Do you think that's because they're on a different tier?
Well, I don't know about that. I know that people that were born in the same year are going to get on better because everything they've watched on the TV, everything that they've went through, every news article, everything, they've lived through it at the same time. So they're going to their brain's gonna be working the same way. They've seen the same stuff. Or, but like you say, it's people that are on like that have probably been here and came back, died and came back the same amount of times, are probably going to be in the same level because, let's just say, remember we were watching Oppenheimer, and you've got Oppenheimer. How does he know how like the same maths as Einstein, and their brains all working the same way, is pointing towards the same stuff? Not one thing that he wrote on that fucking chalkboard about anything would we understand.
No, exactly.
And we could study for 1,000 years and would still not get it, and would not enjoy it. We would not enjoy it because we're not on that same ascension brain. I think we're us. We're a couple of arseholes and we're quite happy with that. Anyway, do you want Tenants?
No, I'm alright. The sun's just come out and I look like I'm a fucking ghost, don't I?
Oh my God, what's happened there? You got jaundice enough?
Just the light that's... I'm going to turn my ring light off. Still fucking...
That's done nothing. That has done nothing.
Why did I look like that? Well, I nearly finished anyway. I'm going to fucking sit back here. That's bizarre. That's really going to annoy me.
I know. But I blethered on for ages there, man. I do, but I think that dying and coming back, retaining what you learned in the previous life, maybe holds some water. I don't know.
100%.
And we're never going to know. We're never going to know. But what I have seen is, even Christy, when she was a kid, she up until she was like 3 or 4, she'd keep saying to her mum and dad, "I want to go home. I want to go home." And they're like, "You're home. You're home." She's like, "No, I want to go to my real home. I want to go home. I want to go home." So I feel like maybe where she still retained the memory of her past home. And I think that stuff like processed foods, whatever the fuck's in the air, who knows, it kind of dulls your senses, and the older you get and the longer you're here in these with these habits, the minging food and whatnot, I think it suppresses any past life memories, and you're just kind of starting fresh. But
Christy
you
must
do
be super suppressed if it's processed foods.
She eats chicken nuggets.
Nobody more suppressed in the world than that.
I know.
But that's an interesting topic, though.
Exactly. Just what I was talking about there. There was another one that was this was recent. There was a kid saying he remembers jumping out the Twin Towers.
On Twin Towers, yeah, I've heard about that one.
And nuts, there was another one. A
was
young
that kid
boy
not able to? He remembered who he was and everything. Was he not able to say like my name was this, and it tallied up, tallied up to like a real person?
They checked
fucking
everything.
Scary.
But the scariest one, well, not scariest one, but the most interesting one for me was a young boy, and he kept telling his parents, "Take me to this house. Take me to this house. My wife's there." And they're like, "Your wife? What are you talking about?" So they humoured him because it wasn't that far away.
Yeah,
so it was in America. And they drove him to the woman's house. It was an old woman. She was in her 80s, and he went in and he gave her a big hug, and says, "It's me. I'm your husband." This is the wee boy saying this. "It's me. I'm your husband." She's like, "All right," and says, "If you didn't believe me, go into the wardrobe. If you've kept my clothes in the top of my military outfit, I've left a packet of cigarettes." And they hadn't made this brand for like 30 years.
Yeah,
and they went into the top pocket, and there was the cigarettes in this woman's house that none of them have ever met. Bonkers.
That's mad. If my kid did that, I'd send them straight out the front door, never to return. That's creepy.
Oh, they'd be fucking buried with Ryan Reynolds. That's a fact.
They'd be gone. Well, that was quite the tangent. Loved that.
I know.
That's the sort of conversation we used to have in the pub, which gave us the idea to do a podcast like this. So it is quite funny just to go a bit off. What do you call it? Bit off track. Love a tangent.
Bit off topic. Right, we've got one last story for you. Sorry about all the tangents we went on. We've fucking blethered for ages, but we've got one last one for you, and you're gonna like it. It's fucking crazy for a number of reasons.
Who are you apologising to?
Or millions of listeners.
Aye. Okay.
All
Sorry,
4
guys.
of them. Yeah, no. Right. Here we go. Buckle yourself in. Priest arrested for operating a legal Viagra trafficking operation from his home. Right, a priest operating a Viagra trafficking fucking operation from his home, right? So the priest has been described as a very popular man.
I can imagine, aye.
I swear to God that this was an article. He's been described as a very popular man. And of course he would be. So the Spanish priest has been arrested on suspicion of illegally selling Viagra from his home. He was arrested in a rectory where he lived with a man described to be his partner. The pair of them went to court on Tuesday and they were quizzed by investigators. So it's wrong for a couple of reasons. So you've got a man of the cloth, gay, right, which is frowned upon. It's fine being gay, do whatever you want, but man of the cloth, it's frowned upon. But as you know, priests have got a bit of a name for being fucking dodgy, especially around these here parts.
It is.
That's him there.
When you were telling me the story, I was thinking to myself that that's not even inside the top 100 worst things that's been done in a church, is it? Let's be fair.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
not even one, no.
And we're not tarring everybody by the same brush, but it's not the most upstanding of organisations, is it?
No. But I've got a bit of trivia for you. Did you know that Viagra, it was never, ever invented to give you a fucking stiffy, right? Never.
I've not heard the word stiffy since like 1998. That's great. That's made my money.
I've got them all.
Yeah. Stiffy, I've just, never heard a grown man call it a stiffy till now.
They were never made to give you a stiffy. But they...
Let's bring back stiffy. Let's start a hashtag.
I know. Do you know why it was invented?
No.
So it pumps the blood faster in your body. So if you've got like slow blood movement in your body, or blood's not getting to a certain part or anything like that, or you've got like narrow fucking arteries and stuff like that, it's just to flow your blood quicker through your body, and in turn gives you a hard on.
That's crazy. No, I didn't know that. So it's more like for circulation, and then it just gives you
circulation. Aye,
gives you a stiffy.
Got a stiffy, exactly. I know. Talking about these cool words like stiffy and stuff that we've no used since school. Remember one of the best times of our life, and you'll agree with this, right? Sitting playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, just listening to that music, using words like stiffy, and listening to that fucking Blink-182 concert you mentioned earlier. Yeah. Not a phone in sight, not a care in the world. What a fucking time. And it's scary that we're never going to see that again. Your kids are never going to see anything like that. But
nah.
They'll
have their own Tony Hawks too, though, I guess. Like, every generation's probably felt this way a little bit. But yeah, one of the happiest days of my life, and this is true, and it's a wee bit sad, but maybe it's no. We talk a lot of shit on this podcast and we have a laugh and everything, but genuinely, one of the happiest days of my life was when I was about 14 years old. December, I think it was, not long before Christmas, and woke up and there'd been loads of snow, and the schools were off. I've got a younger brother that's 8 years younger than me, so we were never at school together because of the age gap. So once he started school, obviously, he was just a wee boy and I was a lot older than him, but we didn't spend as much time together as we did when, obviously, before he went to school. And turned out both our schools were off, and we just sat like all morning and all afternoon, snow day, playing Tony Hawk. My mum went out and got like pizzas from the freezer and stuff. Like, honestly, it was just such a great day. It was like a classic, I don't know why, I always remember that day. It was just brilliant. And it was all just around just sitting playing horse on Tony Hawk, or skate, I think they call it now, but it's the real name of it's horse. Don't know why they named it. But yeah, just what a fucking time we had when we were kids and teenagers, And the younger generation just don't know they're born. No. That's my message.
Did you, let's just go back a bit. Did you just say my mum went out and got some pizzas for the freezer?
From the freezer.
Tell you what, Alison, if you're listening, you could have maybe stepped up to a wee Domino's for them. Pizza for the freezer, indeed.
I don't even think Domino's even existed in 1999, did it?
Actually, I'm going to go back to that exact period we're talking about. I'm fucking fuming because while I'm sitting playing Tony Hawk's, right, I'd hear the ice cream van outside. No, I'm starving now. I'd say to my mum, can I get some for the ice cream van? And she'd go, no, there's fucking chalk ices in the freezer. What's that? What good's a chalk ice? That's fucking peasant food.
That's so funny because I remember seeing something recently, and my mum and dad used to do this as well. Like if you were out somewhere, maybe like if you'd went out to the beach for a day or that, and you would see the ice cream van, they would do the exact same thing. They'd be like, oh, we've got chalk ices at home. And I'm like, great, I'm not at home. I'm here. And I want a Mr. Whippy with a flake.
With a flake.
No!
99 now.
Can you still buy chalk ices?
I mean, I wouldn't. I think they're still out there.
Oh, I'm
They weren't
blind
even
to them.
nice. They taste like fucking cardboard. All you could taste was the paper.
They do taste like cardboard, and all you can taste is the paper when the paper's off it. That's so fucking weird.
Might as well just eat a piece of A4 and be done with it. Yeah, that's it for this week. We've rattled on for quite a while, so without any further ado, thanks very much for listening and watching once again. You know what I'm going to say by now. Like, subscribe, share, all the usual nonsense that we say. Any final words, Roberto?
Yes, if you hear about a cat going missing, it's my cat. I'm going to kick its fucking skull in because for this the whole podcast he's been scratching at that door, and I apologise if it's came through. I'm going to go through now, and I'm going to have a word with him.
Good. I don't think he's a fan of the new time. I think we'll go back to Monday nights next week, will we?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Monday
the
nights.
SSPCA probably want us to. Bye. Thanks for listening. Have a cracking week. See you next week.